I want to introduce myself. My name's Tim. This is Nathan. We're the two co-founders of CodePath. So, it's really good to see everybody here. I see so many familiar faces because, as you all know, as students, for those of you who are participants in CodePath, it's an intense experience as a student, which we design for you, right? But you may or may not realize that it's an intense experience for the teaching staff as well. Because remember that when you're filing issues at 2 a.m. in the morning, we're receiving those issues at 2 in the morning, and there's a lot more of you guys. So it's kind of funny because my wife, who's sitting here, over here, about giving away our swag, she's forbidden me from answering support issues anymore over the weekends, and so whenever I answer them, I have to sneak to the bathroom and be really quickly do it. But that's how committed I am to you guys. So we want to be quick here and have as much time for you all to just enjoy the demos and just enjoy some of the food and drinks here and meet each other. So me and Nathan will try to be as brief as possible. So a lot of you here are CodePath alumni. Some of you are thinking about taking our class. And so we haven't had much of a chance, even with our students, to share a little bit about kind of the vision of where we're taking CodePath. And it's definitely something that we want you guys to be a part of and to watch along with us. And so I wanted to take a moment here to talk about that. So as you may or may not know the kind of the origin story of CodePath. So me and Nathan were sitting around. We knew we wanted to start a company. And we knew we wanted to, be in education. So it's change education, change the world, right? So that was our naive thinking. It's I don't know anything about education. We're just going to hop in here and we're going to do it. And we were motivated by a problem that we understood really well, which is engineers, when you're learning new technologies, it's really inefficient, right? We all do it, but the secret is that it's gruelingly time-consuming and not particularly efficient. It's hundreds of hours reading Stack Overflow posts that are out of date or inaccurate, or unfortunately, usually a beginner writes Stack Overflow posts, and so you kind of have to be okay, they got it working, but that can't be the right way, and so you try to back your way into what the right way is, right? So we said to ourselves, what if we designed a training program that was specifically tailored towards senior engineers, something they would enjoy, especially since they have the option of learning it themselves later, and we later added on the design class. And so over the past 3 years, you all have been our guinea pigs, because it's kind of funny to see the history of the CodePath classes here, because I can almost look at you and recognize the little thing that we tried that time that was different, right? Because this is our little bit of a test kitchen in San Francisco for our education system. And so we have a lot of little tricks that we've built up, and I just want to highlight two main learnings that we had, which I think provided the core of the magic that we have. So the first interesting one, and I think the one that you understand, is that we make the class as gruelingly hard as we possibly can. Whenever we see people struggling, we just make it even harder, because why not? And so it's kind of funny, but that's actually totally counterintuitive. Maybe it makes sense to you now, but if you look at some of the education solutions that are out there now, they're trying to do these broad appeal education solutions. And I think what happens is they see that a lot of people fail. And so what do they do is they actually say, well, you know what, I guess I'll make it easier. I'll actually back off of it. I think that's a very natural, intuitive thing to do, right? If 50% of the people are failing your class, you probably back up on it a little bit, right? So 50% of the people were failing our classes, and we're I'm gonna go the other way. I'm actually gonna make it ridiculously harder. I'm gonna do things I'm gonna kick you out of the class if you don't do the homework. Some of you here, you've had personal talks from us where you say, you know what, you're out of the class, and you fought your way back in. And that one trick raised our matriculation rates to over 90%, and the assessment kind of went through the roof in terms of can you actually do mobile development. And so the other kind of trick is something that I think was really close to Nathan's heart. Nathan's going to talk about.
Yeah, so I think challenge is number one, but the other thing we've seen, I think more than anything that completely changes the way learning works is when you pair the challenge with the appropriate level of authentic mentorship, right? The real one-on-one human mentorship that isn't just about the technical transfer of knowledge, but it's also about maintaining an authentic relationship in terms of providing them understandings of this is okay, being frustrated is okay, and you can do this and you will push through. And I've had conversations with people at 2 a.m. when I actually call them, and they're like, I think I'm going to drop out of the class. It's too difficult. And I tell them, okay, if that's your choice, but let me tell you, I've seen 1 million people do this. I've seen 1 million people survive it and be glad they finished and then move on to do something with it that was really impactful. And I think that for me, you cannot just say, I'm going to change education by widening access. Widening access is one small piece of the equation, but access alone does not change education, right? If you think back to why you got into the field that you're in, why you're excited about the things that you're excited about, I would almost argue that for many of you, you could probably trace it back personally to an individual, right? Somebody who was there to help you get started, a family member, a cousin, a friend, a professor, a teacher, whatever the case may be. There's usually one or more individuals as people that got you not just the technical knowledge, but also built that relationship that made you believe that it was possible for you to succeed in that discipline. And I believe access combined with mentorship and relationship and then opportunity, those are the three pieces of effective education, right? Access, mentorship, and opportunity. You can't teach somebody and then go walk away, good luck, right? You have to have a plan to get them connected to real opportunities after they learn. And I think that those three things, they're often overlooked, right? Think about a lot of the online education that exists today. And I'll tell you, an online forum is cool. A message board is cool, but it's not enough, all right? I've seen this personally time and time again. It's those human relationships that matter. That's what helps you survive the frustration. That's what helps you complete the class. And ultimately, that's what helps you allow the class to change your life rather than just be something you learn once and then you walk away. And so it's something I've taken away personally in my own life. I have a few mentors who completely changed the trajectory of my life. And I suspect most of you here have something similar. That is, I think, the core of what we're trying to do with CodePath, is help people find those mentors, help people get the access, but then again, coupled with the human relationship. So I think that for me, that's probably the biggest learning I've seen, is the validation of that as we've went through this program and tried to scale it, is don't forget about the relationships.
So we're about to take this equation that we've built and kind of take it to the next level, because SF always has the privilege of getting the early adoption first, right? But if we only were in San Francisco, I think that would be a huge failure. So what we're doing next is to see if we can duplicate this playbook in 100 different sites. That's kind of our mission, 100 CodePath sites all over the world, running this format. So where you have the intensity, the pursuit of excellence, the no excuses type way, that I used to call it the P90X way of learning mobile development. So can we take that and, like CrossFit, sweep the nation like they did? So the experiment that we're working on with now is we're unrolling this at Facebook, Walmart, and Yahoo right now, where we're actually teaching them how to replicate our bootcamp internally in those companies. So our mission is to kind of take it through company after company and teach them this way of having continuous learning. Imagine that if every company you had this option, not within CodePath, but just within your individual company. The other thing that we're doing is we're hitting up universities. So I ran a pilot at Stanford. I ran the same exact format, 8-week format at Stanford a couple months ago, where we actually had the students co-teaching with me. I had 5 TAs, because essentially I was trying to start like an honor society within Stanford, where I had 5 TAs kind of committing to do all the assignments ahead of time. I had a student instructor and kind of monitoring that. So imagine, again, because Stanford, who cares about Stanford? Because Stanford gets all the privilege anyway. But really, it's like all the other universities that don't have iOS classes, that don't have Android classes, but we want to see if we can test our models into. So I think that's where we're going with that direction. And in 6 weeks, I'm really, really happy to announce that we're having our first high school class that's running. It's going to be our format. So that kind of